and other people are wondering, so why am I still getting, I'm aging, but why am I still getting acne?
Okay. Well, first of all, again, there's no cure for acne. So if you had acne as a teenager, and I have to tell you something, people will say to me, Jan, I don't have acne. I just break out once in a while. It doesn't matter. You break out once a day, once a week, once a month. It's all acne. It's the same process. So your tendency toward it is always going to remain. But I'm going to give you one little caveat. And so I'm going to take just a moment to explain this because I think it'll be a real eye-opener for a lot of people. When individuals get into their 20s and beyond, acne is an epidemic today. So men and women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. And it's nothing to do with mass. Now, the process is the same, but here is where there's a bit of a difference. And we estimate that maybe as much as 98% of females, this is the issue. So in your follicle, you have certain enzymes. Isozyme type 1, isozyme type 2, known as 5A reductase. That's harmless. You have it up here in follicles in your scalp. Then outside your follicle, you have hormones. Hopefully, you have estrogen, you have progesterone, you have testosterone. Women have almost as much as testosterone as men, but our testosterone is bound by proteins. It's like having a sac around it or a membrane. We don't get a deep voice and a hairy face and a hairy chest. Now, well, not a beard anyway. We get hair, but what happens is that we find that most of these adult women that are having this issue produce a little bit of free testosterone, or they have a testosterone sensitivity. It's not going to show up in a blood test. Guys, you go to your doctor and you say, oh, it's got to be hormones. Test me, test me. There's a wide range of normal. Unless you have polycystic ovary, it's not going to show up. Well, here's what happens. That little bit of testosterone sensitivity or that free testosterone gets together with the enzymes and they shake hands and they immediately form dihydrotestosterone, the most aggressive form of testosterone. Now, again, the process in the follicle is the same whether you're a teenager or an adult, but what this does is this causes, or is a causative factor in that acne. So, you said, okay, I'm a teenager and I had some acne on my forehead and my cheeks. Well, now I'm getting it perioral, jawline. I'm getting mini cysts and nodules. Okay, that's what that typically is. So what you have to do is you have to do the system. You've got to do the duality because, again, you've got to have all those factors that go into the issues in the follicle. But duality also has in it, in the retinol chamber, something that helps to block these two things from getting together. Okay? Now let's just say that you're one of the rare people. You do all this and you're still having an issue. And believe me, I have worked with physicians that have 5-time Accutane failures. We get them completely clear. But there's always the exception. So here's going to be the trick that you put in your back pocket. So there is something out there that you take orally that blocks this. It's not an antibiotic. And you're going to think, oh my God, Jan's lost her mind. It is a diuretic. It's a prescription diuretic. It's called spironolactone. S as in Sam, P as in Peter, IROLACTONE, spironolactone. Now what this is a diuretic that's been around for probably 50 years. If you're taking it for high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, those kinds of things, you're taking it 500, 1,000, 2,000 milligrams a day. This is very low dose. This is only 50 to 150 milligrams a day. Does one thing. It blocks those two from getting together. It's a miracle. It also blocks it in the follicle up here, so it regrows hair for people that have baldness. It completely stops. I can tell you, if people are saying, oh God, every time I wash my hair, it's coming out. I will say within probably 2 weeks, that stops.
Wow.
And then you start to see regrowth in about 4 to 6 weeks. And because what it's doing is blocking the interaction of that testosterone in the follicle with the enzymes. Not only that, it cuts oil about 60 to 80%. That doesn't mean it dries your skin out, but how many times have you heard, Sue, somebody say, I don't know what's going on. My skin is oilier than it was when I was a teenager.
Right.
So it balances everything. And I've been working with this for years and years. It's finally starting to take hold in the US. When I used to do lecture at conferences and I lectured at the British Association of Medicine in London, this was something that they were actually doing before us.
Right.
So this can be a real miracle worker. And you can take
Do they need to go ask their doctor, their PA for this? Is it a prescription?
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be a lot of doctors because it was prescribed for polycystic ovary, which I won't go into that whole thing, but it used to be that a doctor would look at you and go, well, you don't have polycystic ovary, do you? But today, and I just talked to somebody the other day, they said, yeah, I picked up the phone, called my doctor, she just prescribed it over the phone.
Good.
It's considered to be, there's virtually no side effects associated with it. Some of the older studies actually showed that some of the benefits were cut cravings for sugar and chocolate.
Oh.
It helped with, it helps with some of the things associated with syndrome X, which is where your insulin levels are going too high. So the